Christensen.
Hello, vinyl community.
Hello.
Hello. So this is Markus. He's my brother-in-law from Finland, and he's come over here to watch. We've been watching Finland Ladies, and it hasn't really gone so well, has it?
Yeah.
No. Right. Anyway, well, you came to see your sister as well, my wife. Yes, obviously.
Yeah. And you, of course.
Yes, and me. So we thought we would do a little listening session. I mean, I know other people do these sort of things. Yeah, and I will mention the competition, which I hadn't mentioned before. Not the answers, but the people that did the videos, and yeah. Well, no, I'll mention it now. Okay, so the people that did a video, a response to the competition to win this, or the bigger version of it. If I have your address already, it has been sent to you in the post. And if you haven't, and you did a video, you can easily have a copy of these if you get in touch with me. If you aren't that bothered, like Dale, Gatefold 33, then, you know, I'm not going to be offended about it, you know. Yeah, so thank you anyway for those people that did video. They're all still on YouTube, Vinyl Community, so you can watch them or watch my video with the questions, but that was the end of that competition. And I left it way too late to do the to announce that, really, but sorry about that. So we have both chosen 4 records, haven't we? Yeah. I'll just sum up this. I played, so that was the most recent CD that I did. This was the first one, which was 2017. So I played Markus, who is familiar with this, the Jazz Preacher, but in its original form. I didn't play anything from this record, which you don't get many records called that anymore, I don't think. But the actual Jazz Preacher vocals came from this album, which is another Alan Lomax Heritage Series album, field recording with the English folk singer Shirley Collins, assisted by, I presume that she pressed the record button and everything, I don't know. And it was by the Reverend I.D. Back and Congregation, a sermon and lining hymn. Yeah, of which the liner notes tell us many, many things. But basically it was sort of like a church where anyone can say anything and the leader isn't paid. So that was where that sample came from that album. Not available in the shops, not available on the internet at the moment. Okay, so we listened. What did you think of that? A bit weird hearing it.
A bit of a weird first, but very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And the Reverend has a really, really nice voice.
Yeah.
Kind of raspy voice.
Yeah.
A little bit like a modern death metal.
Like a who?
Like a modern death metal.
Oh right, I suppose he was, wasn't he? Yeah, I suppose he was really. Yeah.
Well, maybe I was exaggerating a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, your first choice.
My first choice as a selection.
Yes.
It has a bit of a story.
Okay, please. Yes.
It's the Dire Straits' "Love Over Gold." I haven't listened to this for a long time, and actually I don't have this kind of selection that you have on albums anyway. But I was so happy to find this in your catalog, so to say, because this "Love Over Gold" album, and especially the song "Telegraph Road," was a very important part of my English kind of language stuff, and how to kind of get into learning more English and wanting to know what the bands or the performers are saying in their songs.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
okay.
And the thing is that Telegraph Road, in my assumption, is about industrialization, the song, but the story behind this is the thing that we used to have a English teacher, very old lady in our school,
right,
who was having really boring English sessions, and once,
yes,
for 1 week, she was on some holiday or sick leave or something, and a young student came,
yes,
who was studying to be a teacher,
yes,
came then and brought.
And it was Mark Knopfler.
No, it
Okay,
wasn't.
right.
He brought this album to our class, which was really unheard of.
Controversial.
Controversial in the 80s because they were supposed to follow directly to all those boring stuff. And he was a radical, so to say. He brought this album. It was really unheard of. And played the song for us, the Telegraph Road.
Oh, right, okay.
And printed us the lyrics that now your task is to learn these lyrics, what they mean.
Okay.
And that was the thing that with this song, and I with the translations and everything, I learned what the lyrics meant.
Yeah.
And then with that kind of got me an inspiration that right after that, when I bought the albums, I always wanted to go through the lyrics and what do they mean. Learn English. I want to know what they are saying. That's the lyrics wise why it was a kind of a kick-off for me to learning more English. English in the future also. The other side of now, that when we yesterday listened to this is still an amazing song. Yeah. I think it's a nice song and especially the instrumental parts at the end were really good. I was listening to all the musicians in the end. This is still an amazing album, I think. Yeah. So that's the story of Telegraph Road and Dire Straits of Love Over Gold. Yeah. Radical student.
Yeah. So where was
kind of lifting up as teenagers.
Where was did you get records out of the library, or where was your nearest record shop, Seinäjoki?
There wasn't really. It was in
Seinäjoki. An hour away, half an hour away.
45 minutes.
45 minutes,
something like that. But there were two shops who were selling records, and the selection wasn't that large. But once something came up, then we usually.
Oh, okay,
There was a little bit of race at who's gonna get.
Was it new or second hand then?
New
records. Yeah.
And in the library, there used to be a possibility to listen to a lot of music, which we did also.
Yeah, but now you have Spotify, so...
Yeah, to Spotify. Yes. Let's not get into that
discussion
yet.
But
very good album.
Yeah. So yesterday we had a listening session.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of going through bands thinking that weren't famous in Finland or you wouldn't have heard of or you would have liked maybe. So there was a lot of... we grew up, both of us, quite similar age in the 80s, and there was lots of women that we sort of would have, Sam Fox and these other embarrassing sort of things like Sabrina. Anyway, this album I played a track, and you hadn't heard of them. They were two Americans that were living in London, I think, as far as I know. So it's Voice of the Beehive, Let It Be, from... offhand, I think, was this 88 or something? I can't remember now. 88, is that? I can't quite see it. Anyway, it's London as the label. Okay. And I played I Walk the Earth, which is just like a really sort of happy, sort of catchy pop song with your predictable guitar solo towards the end, I suppose. But yeah, and you liked it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you hadn't, I'm presuming
I haven't heard
they
it
were...
At least I remember. I'm an old man.
Yeah. And I have that, and then I think I have another album by them, and then they faded into... Once they hit the 90s, a lot of bands in UK and Europe as well, they just sort of faded into obscurity before Britpop, grunge, Manchester sort of things, and I guess record labels chopped and changed so much anyway, so that's that. Yes, and you liked it. Good. Yeah, a success. On your Spotify now. Voice of the Beehive. Right, something we both had, this album.
Yeah, we both had this album. Actually, I had a cassette of it. Not like
cassette,
a C cassette of this. Yeah. This is Aha and the Scoundrel Days album. So, this was, I remember, of course, everybody knows the biggest ones, the Take On Me's and stuff like that. Yeah. But it was actually in Finland, it was a bit of a shame that probably worldwide too, that's the song that this band is remembered for. Yeah. Because there's so many good music that they did, and especially this album was it's full of very kind of good kind of selections and compositions and really, really good songs that I like a lot. Some are happy, some are a little bit of sad and melancholy, which is always kind of, for us Finns, it's kind of touches our heart in a way also. So the Scoundrel Days and I've Been Losing You and Cry Wolf, maybe I think it was a hit. But for example, yesterday I played the last song, Soft Rains of April to you, which is like a slow song and kind of melancholy, like a haunting, like that kind of song. Which like if you listen to the end, you will know what it's about. In my interpretation about it, it's about that. Well, they gave me 4 years, 3 more to go. Keep writing letters, time's passing so slow. So I interpret it so that this guy has been in prison and he's kind of waiting letters for his loved one or something like that. So those kind of small touches here and there. And I watched the documentary. I think it's one in Finnish television or so about the band.
Oh right, okay.
And in the end, they said that they had a lot of fights about. They didn't want to compromise anything after the first album. Yeah. And when the poppy sounds at the time, they didn't want to. After that, they didn't want to compromise anything, and they wanted to keep their head. So these later albums are exactly how they wanted them to be.
Oh, okay.
So and this was the first ones of those. Really good album, and that I listened it a lot. Yeah. At the time.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, you would. At the time, you thought that was just another commercial pop band with some hits. Yeah. But actually, you can even the cover is quite arty, isn't it? I mean, it has a picture of them. It doesn't come with a poster or badges or anything, sort of thing. But a lot of the songs are very.
They are different.
Deeper. Than the one. It's a good. It's a better. It's a fuller album, a selection. I mean, I remember
more meaningful. Maybe.
More meaningful, yeah. I mean, I remember the hits, obviously, and I remember there was a program in UK, or still is, called Blue Peter, which was a children's program, and they did some feature on them because it was children's and it was a pop band and everything, and it was to do with the making of a video that had. It wasn't the Wales song, but it was, I think, Manhattan Skyline. It was either animated video, partly, like Take On Me, or it was to do with whales jumping in and out of the water or something. I can't remember, but they did that with Bananarama as well, but they sort of had like a... showing how they shoot a video and everything. Yeah. And... Yeah. I didn't. You played that song. I didn't remember it. Yeah. I did notice it had the line, "The ferry across the water to Dover over." So it could have been something about them returning from UK. Yeah. I don't know, but anyway. Also. Yeah.
But that's how it is always. That you interpret it in a way that. Yeah. That's probably how the artists want them to.
Yeah. So that was 1986. Aha.
Yeah, and I have to say also in this that the Living Daylights is another big Bond hit. I didn't. Yeah. That was not so good for me either. But here and there some very good songs in the later in their career too.
Yeah, Memorial Beach, and they've got a new album out this year, as far as I know. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. So you can take that.
Yep.
So next one. Okay, so. There was a documentary about KLF on Sky Arts. It was on last week and I watched it, and also someone else in the VC, Sean Whelan. I can't remember the name of his channel now. Sorry, Sean. Anyway, so he was saying about he'd watched this documentary, so I watched it, and it had the thing about the burning the money that KLF did. And obviously they were a huge band around the world, and then they sort of became more artists. This wasn't a hit in Finland. Okay, so this is Justified Agents of Moo Moo, and it's called It's Grim Up North. So it's just more like a rave sort of record, and I sort of just played it because I didn't think you would have heard of it, I suppose. And it lists all places in the north. Of course, Northern Britain is not grim. It's, if anything, and slightly politically, it's probably a bit more deprived because Westminster and the Houses of Parliament is in the south. And shall we just leave it at that? Maybe, I don't know. So this is it's KLF, Justified Agents of Moo Moo. So it's a rave track listing places in the north with the band's certain sense of humour, and at the end it goes into Jerusalem. The hymn, the hymn, based I think on William Blake's words, and used in Chariots of Fire as well. So do you
think this is better track than those hits that were
No.
3 a.m. Eternals and stuff like that.
No. The funny thing was, we went for a walk yesterday, and I asked the ice cream man had he heard of this song, Justified and Ancient, and I sang it to him not too badly, and he had not heard of the Tammy Wynette hit about KLF driving an ice cream van. So anyway, yeah, and he looked at me a bit strangely. He probably did look at me a bit strangely.
Singing about that. He asked you, do you sing a lot then?
Oh, he asked me, do I sing a lot? Not if I can help it. No.
No. Okay, my next one is, of course, is the Def Leppard and Hysteria. Yesterday when we were choosing these, I was checking your selection, what there could be that have a uncommon meaning. I said that there can't be any video of me without any hair metal bands in the 80s, because that's such a big part of my teenage late 20s. I still listen to this old music. There are many people think it's a little bit funny and a little bit like blah blah blah, but it's a part of me, and it's a huge part of my musical kind of a heritage and timeline, so to say. And this was one example of those. This is one of those first albums that I bought. With this kind of
your own pocket money.
I had some Mötley Crüe and some Twisted Sisters, and I had The Perfect Strangers for Deep Purple. And then those kind of I had, and I think Rainbow's Difficult to Cure, and those I had a few albums before, but this is the one I remember because there was these stories about the drummer losing the hand, and how is he gonna try to learn how to play with one hand in the hospital bed with the napping on the toes and stuff like that. So this was the one, and now this is the one that represents itself, but also the kind of the era of all the music that I did. And in those days, do you remember? And you know how much you have, but all these sleeves were full of information. Oh, they put They put all kinds of funny stuff here. For example, the band members have a huge long names with probably 4 or 5 nicknames.
Baron Beaverbrook.
And the thank you lists were in that era hard rock albums are huge. They were thanking everyone, and then who is endorsing anything. They say that Joe Elliott plays golf with this kind of sticks and stuff like that. So and finally we would like to thank, and it took us 4 years to make this record and all kinds of information. This was the one that was very important at the time. I was remember reading them and translating if needed. I was reading so closely everything. All the small hints what there are and anything. So, but I like this album also because it was a little bit more, a little bit different than the previous one. Than the Pyromania.
Yes.
So, 80s hard rock still lives.
Were there any Finnish bands similar at the time, or did that come later? I mean, it must have been, but not
the first Hanoi Rocks, which was that era, maybe the biggest band, who was at the verge of breaking up, kind of globally also.
And the one your sister liked, what were they called? The one with that was the other band. I have
Finnish-speaking bands, you mean?
Yeah.
You mean Dingo?
Dingo.
Dingo. That was that. Yeah, that's the kind of Finnish rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Hanoi Rocks was the first that even Guns N' Roses say that Hanoi Rocks is one of their kind of idols. How to start? Yeah. Well, anyway, that now we would go endlessly with this road, but 80s rock hard rock is still very close to my heart, even though I listen to all kinds of music. Anyway,
I had that. I don't know whether I had that on record, but at my school, people either liked rock and metal, into Metallica and stuff, or they liked hip hop and rap. And I think actually I latched onto a bit of both, but I was more in the pop realm, which probably will lead us on to the last two records. But at the time, I had a really bad mullet haircut. It was like short at the front and then long at the back. So anyway, about that time, this is a band that you obviously know and were famous in Finland. So this is Velveteen Transvision Vamp. So
that's a really good album.
Yeah, this is the second album that they did. This is, I have a normal one, but this is a strictly limited edition picture disc album. So they're very stylized cover there with pictures. What they always did had like some Marilyn Monroe, Elvis at the background there, and all lit very well. And there was this Paper Ghosts we were talking about, wasn't there? That was one song.
Baby I Don't Care, of course, the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Landslide of Love was one.
Yeah. And this rather terrible Song to the Stars, like a minute long, that wasn't. But Velveteen was the sort of the long track that they did that was very, very different. Yeah. So, I went to see them once, and she couldn't sing really live. It was at Brixton Academy, I think, about 90.
How many albums?
91. They did 3 albums. The third one really didn't get even a full release in the UK. I think maybe they got dropped by the record label, and the 2 singles only just got into the top 40, which was what you needed. That was how it worked. I was going to say PC pre-Cowell.
Yeah.
You had to be on top of the pops really to get your record further up the chart. And I didn't even buy the third album at the time. I found it in a junk shop in Berlin, actually, and I haven't really played it very much. But the first album had I Want Your Love, and then there was this one that was the... it was obviously slated by the fashionable music press at the time. So that's that. And now this is something that I had on VHS video for some bizarre reason. Anyway. Yeah,
this is the collection that I also found. Yes. It is the Now collection, which apparently is still going strong.
Yes, it's still going,
strong, but still going.
It's still going. We're on over 100.
Yeah. And this is number 6.
Shiny 80s jackets.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, nice.
Lovely. Yes.
Lovely. Yes. This was also the album that I had in those days, and I remember because there wasn't a possibility to buy all the records that they kind of really because the selection in the shops close by was so and there were really a competition for people who's gonna get it if something new comes up. So the compilations, many people bought these compilations.
It's popular.
Because you get a little bit of glimpse of here and there. Of course, I knew some of the songs here, but some of them were. I have no idea what it is.
No, this has Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush on it, so it's totally up to date album.
It still has a meaning nowadays.
Yeah, we played Baltimore Tarzan Boy. That was my fault actually.
Wasn't it? Fault is a good word.
Yes, it was my
But there's some really interesting songs that I. And sometimes when these compilation albums, I was thinking they were not the biggest hits. For example, there's a Nick Kershaw song, When a Heart Beats. And
I don't even know that one. No.
Of course, everybody knows the riddle that was the key. Okay, there's a Nick Kershaw here. Okay. But what is this? It's not that song.
Such a big hit.
Yeah. No. But there's some really good songs. If we would select like a few here, which are kind of good ones that are kind of still. Made a good.
And the ones you skip over, maybe,
there are the skip. I think there are skip overs.
Fast forwards.
Yeah, but there, of course, there's One Vision from Queen.
A Good Heart, Fergal Sharkey.
There Must Be an Angel was a good. Alive and Kicking is a good song.
Yeah.
And
Tina Turner, the Thunderdome.
We Don't Need Another Hero was a huge hit in Finland too.
Election Day,
and.
If I Was Mid-Year, I suppose.
Miami Vice theme was a huge because Miami Vice was a very big thing in Finland. Yeah.
Something more Euro. I think Maria Vidal Body Rock must have been a Euro hit.
And everybody knew Tarzan Boy, of course.
Yeah.
So they probably chose a few. Well, Funny and Cannibals was known also in Finland.
Yeah.
But then I remember when this album, there were some songs that I kind of. I don't know what these are, but they are actually pretty good. And I remember this Sue and the Banshees, Cities in the Dust, was the song that I really was a surprise good for me.
This is strange because, was it exactly the same?
Exactly.
So they maybe were just imported straight. They weren't different for each country.
Yeah.
I had a Now 6 on VHS. In fact, it might even still be at my mum's house. But I remember it had the Cults. Rain on there, I think.
That's not in there.
It's not on there. No. I'm trying. It definitely had a One Vision, A Good Heart, Marillion Lavender. I think it had. It didn't have This is like how many hits, 30 top chart hits, but the video only had about half of them. So they could obviously only get the permission to have 30 half of the videos on their side.
Maybe we can mention one thing still.
Yeah,
there's an ad.
Oh, there's an ad for the other ones.
All of them. Remember, those who have this also, they have the ad of which songs are in the first, second, third, and blah blah blah. The next one, so they are kind of wanting you to buy more, buy all the sets of these things.
I only found that one in the charity shop. And kept it. I've decided I shouldn't really get any more.
I don't really like. In general, I don't really compilation albums.
No,
like that.
No.
But this has a. I remember this was
with a shiny jacket.
With a shiny
lovely,
jacket.
Beautiful.
Feel the quality.
Feel the quality. Okay, so I hope you felt the quality of this video. Thank you, Mardicus, for digressing with me and reminiscing with me about some things. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you. Take care.
Toodaloo. Bye.